Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I am going to be talking about my experience with the TSI testing that you take when you're going to start college. I had a pretty interesting experience, if I may say. I had to take the math test once, so we're going to talk about the math test first. Actually, when you originally start, for the most part, you have to take math, reading and writing. So I think it's called ELA or something like that. I think that's what they call it nowadays. I remember when I was in school, it was just called language arts, but now people call it ELA. But so I think it's called ELA, and then there's math, and you have to buy it. When I took it, it was about $29, which I guess is not bad. I guess I don't really know, but I paid $29 on the marketplace website through ACC, the marketplace, and I paid $29 to take this remote. Now, I don't think the price will change if it's remote or in person, but I did it remote because I wasn't in Austin at the time, but I was still taking the test with ACC. Anyway, so I did the pre-assessment activity, which is the first thing you have to do before you take the TSI, which basically explains what the TSI is. It's the Texas Success Initiative, I think that's what it stands for, and it basically determines what level of academics you can start at. Can you be at normal classes, or do you need to start with developmental stuff? So I did all that, and then they give you like a practice reading question, a practice comprehension, a practice math. Like, they give you one practice of each thing, I guess. And then you get a certificate of completion, and then I started, ACC had some practice that I think it was made by Houston Community. That's what the website. That was not supposed to happen. Y'all are leaning against a vitamin jar and y'all just completely fell. Anyway, we're gonna ignore that happened. That totally did not happen. Anyway, so I got the certificate of completion, and I submitted, I think it was like a form, and I requested to do it online, and then I had to email the accessibility team, the disability services, to say that I was doing it online, and I wanted a scribe, someone to read the test to me and put in my answers. And I'm gonna get into how that worked when I actually talk about me taking the test. I don't know why my voice is sounding like this. And then I said that I wanted to be online, that I wanted a scribe. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but this happened like a million years ago, it feels like. So probably it was like 2 years ago, and it seems so long ago. So everything got cleared. Oh, I also got extended time testing. I think I had like 2 days, I think, or something like that, but I had extended time. So yeah, and then I scheduled it with them. I didn't really go through using the test advisors. I just used the accessibility team. So I scheduled that, and then I scheduled it, and then they send you like a confirmation that you scheduled it. They let you know what you kind of need to know about remote testing, like that you need to show your whole room, like your whole area, and that was crazy. Like, you need to put the camera like all around the room so they can see your environment, which is very hard to do with a laptop, trying to move it around everywhere. And I think they said you could, if I needed, I could have like a piece of paper that I could use to write things, although I didn't really need that. So yeah, so then the test day comes, and I start by taking the reading portion, and the person put in my information, like my student ID, and they put it in. So they were reading all the passages to me, and they were reading the questions to me. And this first scribe that I had was probably the best scribe that I've had this whole experience. He was so nice, and we both were like, hey, can we take a break if we needed it? It was only like a 5-minute break, like to go to the bathroom or to walk around for a second. So he read all the questions to me. Um, it was a little tricky to stay focused. Like there were times when my mind would go wandering other places. Um, and then after I answered all those questions, and then what's interesting. Okay, sorry, this is totally. Um, but if you answer like a question right, you'll go to another concept. And then if you answer a question wrong, I think it filters more questions to see like what kind of score you'll get. Anyway, so I finished all those questions. So basically what I'm trying to say is like the number of questions will change depending on how many questions you get right or wrong. I think that's how it was. So then I get to the writing part, and how that part worked was I had a Braille Note Touch, which was like it had a Braille display, and it had things that I could type with keys, and really cool device. Totally check it out. I recommend you check it out. And I wrote everything I wanted to say, and then I read it back to my scribe, and he put it in the test answer. So I would have to say, hey, this is the first paragraph. I would have to say, the cat went to the store, period. Capital, he bought some turkey, period. That was a really bad example, but I just had to let him know when the punctuations were coming and when to go to a new paragraph. And that actually was probably the best I did. I got a 6 on the essay, and then I had to do the math, which was hard because I'm not a math person. And so for somebody to be like, hey Millie, what is 3x plus 5 equals 10? Like I'd have to do that in my head, or like different like word problems, and I'd have to kind of figure it out. And some sections were like, no calculator allowed, and then the others were like, you can use a calculator. So it was very weird. And they also filtered questions, so like the number of questions would change depending on what you got right and wrong. So then I finished. It took me 2 days because the second day I ended up doing the rest of the math. So because there was a lot, there was like 60 questions. It was crazy. So I got a 6 on my essay, which was really cool. I did not pass the reading and math though. Like if you get a 6 on since I got a 6 on my essay, I at least needed a 138 on my reading, and I did not even get that, which was sad. So what I did with math was I eventually had the opportunity to do math in person, the TSI, and I was like, I can't, I'm not a math person, there's no way I'm gonna pass. So I decided to take a developmental math class, which is what I've talked about before, to replace the TSI. So I'm scored in now. I'm complete in math because of that class that I took, which covered basic algebra, 3-step equations, 2-step equations, different kinds of graphs like Venn diagrams and bar graphs and pie charts and all these things. And my professor was really nice, and it was just basic math that I guess I should have known, but I needed that refresher on, and I'm glad I did. So that's nice. But the English, however, was a totally different story. That's why I started off with math first. So because I needed a 138, I needed to keep taking the test until I made that score. So for a while, I think I took the virtual test maybe 2 more times, and each time was like $20, which wasn't fun. So I took the test, and both times I did not. Oh, I'm sorry. I took the virtual test 1 more time, and the scribe was a little hard to understand. And they offered to get me another scribe, but I said no because I kind of wanted to get over with, so I said no. Because I had to wait like a really long time on Zoom for my scribe. So I just said no, and I that kind of attitude of, oh, I just want to get this over with, it really paid off because I didn't even get a good score. So I guess I recommend to have a better attitude when it comes to it. So then I finally was able to take it in person. And in person, I had a scribe, but this time, since it was in person, she just put down my answers for me, since it was just A, B, C, D. And I read everything because I had to request it in Braille. which took a really long time. And the accessibility team was like, I don't know if we can do this. And then eventually they got it in Braille, which took a while, but I had, so yeah, I'm thankful that they were able to sort that out. And then, yeah, I took that, and since I didn't pass, I had to take the diagnostic one, which is, I guess, the next one if you don't pass that one. And I would make scores like 132, 136. So I had to take that test like 2 or 3 times. And then eventually it got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired of this. This is no point. There's no point. I'm just not going to continue this. But then something in my mind just told me to take it one more time. And then I did, and I finally got a 142, which was 4 points higher than what I needed, which was really cool. And it took me so long to pass that test. And I am proud of myself for, even though it was very discouraging, I was able to kind of get through it. And so something I recommend is, like, for one, like, try to have a better mindset about it. Like, don't be like, oh, I just want to get this over with, because that score is going to reflect your attitude. It really will. But if you're like, I'm just going to take this one at a time and take your time with it, then the score will reflect that. And it's kind of crazy how that kind of works. But anyway, that was kind of my experience with the TSI, and a little update. I finally registered for 2 classes in the spring. I'm taking English 1301, and I'm taking music appreciation, which is, I think, is going to be exciting. I'm going to be doing it both remote, so I'm going to be doing it online. And it's like, there's no meeting scheduled. You just kind of do the work at the deadlines and, you know, hope for the best, I guess, which is going to be an interesting experience. I've experienced both in-person classes, in-person class, and a virtual class that was with meetings. And then this time I'm gonna have no meeting, so that's I'm gonna kind of experience all kinds of different types of classes. And I had to change my degree plan also, because the degree I chose was for middle school and down, if you wanted to work with those kinds of students. And I do not. I actually want to work with older, so I had to change my degree to just an arts degree, just in general. And it's just, all it really is, just take your core classes, and then if you want, you can kind of transfer them anywhere, really, because they're core classes. I'm getting 60 hours of core classes, and then I think from there I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow. But anyway, thank you guys so much thank you guys for watching. But also, as you know, Christmas is coming up, and I don't know if you know this, but I usually do a Christmas cover every year. I've done Angels We Have Heard on High, I've done Holly Jolly Christmas, I've done Let It Snow, and I've done Oh Holy Night. They're not in order, but those are all the 4 that I did. And I'm having trouble thinking of one that I want to do this year. I've gotten one idea so far from my community tab, because I did post about this last night, and somebody posted that I do the Coventry Carol, which was, I've never heard it before, and I looked it up, and that's something that I'll definitely consider. But if y'all have ideas, please either leave them in the comments of this video or the community tab, and I will check those out and see if they can work. But until then, I will see you in another video. Love you guys. Bye!